All right, so I kind of want to just hop right into this. This is going to be a continuation from a previous episode of the Weirdose Podcast. All right, it's actually episode 1 when I was talking about creation order. So I kind of want to go a little bit deeper into that. All right, I'm actually going to say watch the video. After you watch the video, come back to this one because we're going to get right into it. Now, creation order. After watching that video, I know one of the main questions is how is that laid out? Like, how is that? What is the physical representation of that particular video? Go watch the video. It's Weirdose Podcast. I think it's episode 1. Let's just say creation order. Now, the creator creates the world, and then creates life, and then it creates creators to do exactly the same thing within their means and within their abilities, right, that have been given from the creator, right? Now, with this, we either build or destroy. Now, while that's going on, something has to be a constant, right? There has to be constants in anything so that one thing can survive, right? Which means the whole thing can't break down. If the whole thing breaks down, then there is no thing. There is none. It's over, right? So in our instance, there are constants, and one of the main constants that we have is nature, right? Mainly because nature is stronger than the human creators here on this planet. Even though I know they try to make it seem like that's not true, but it is true. Nature is one of the strongest. It's probably the strongest force that we have to show the proof that we are not, which we should know this, but it's proof that we are not the strongest entities as far as being human on this planet, right? Boom. Now, we also have other constants, and other constants are animals for sure, but there are definitely personalities and principles and principalities that dwell within animals as well, because they are spirits inside of them, just like they're spirits inside of us, because we have heartbeats, right? Because anything outside of, what grows straight from the earth either has an heartbeat, or is just a piece of mass that takes up space and that can absorb or release energy, right? So let's talk about the heartbeat types of constants. Now, the heartbeat types of constants are animals and humans within creation order that are more inclined to stick with their intuition. Now, there is now as far as animals are concerned, I would love to say that they're always intuitive and always in their higher self, but I can't confirm that information. But that is true for human beings, right? Now, there are going to be human beings that are going to be naturally inclined to always want to follow their higher self, always want to follow their intuition, always going to want to follow the parts of them that are telling them to do the right thing versus doing maybe the wrong thing. And not necessarily because of, any instruction, but just doing the right or the wrong thing based off what is in the best interest for them and the people around them, right? Boom. Now, these constants are going to be maintained, right, while creation is attempted to be destroyed, played, duped, tricked, manipulated, right? These constants are going to always bring the order. It's always going to bring everything back to the middle, right? Because that's what it's supposed to do. There are a lot of heartbeats, I'm not sure if animals are dealing with this, but I can only speak on the human experience. There are a lot of humans who are not inclined to follow their intuitive wisdom, their intuitive knowledge, their intuitive understanding, right? These people, to be honest with you, we love to say, people are bad, but it's not true. These people are just, they had very, very, very bad childhood experiences, and from the lack of healing of those experiences, they created more experiences, because we're creators. They created more experiences to solidify the truth of the trauma that they experienced in their life thus far, right? Due to them not wanting to heal. Now, these types of people are going to be called destroyers. They take their pain and they seek to destroy. However, the constant heartbeats, those are the people who have been put in place, right? The regular humans, just like me and you, they've been put in place to establish or to bring things back to the middle. They may be less emotionally driven. They may be more just using their higher judgment, right? And that is what's going to be used. That's what's going to be used to maintain order during these turbulent times. Those people who are more inclined to follow their intuitive nature, right? Because there's a lot of people who are the opposite, right? I really want to call them. People like to call them bots, all kinds of shit. But I want to call them. Let's give them a good name. I want to call them the challenged ones, the challenged people. They're challenged because their challenges have challenged them and caused them to create more challenges, more challenging challenges that don't benefit them, right? They're very emotionally driven. They don't live in the moment, they live in the emotion at the time. So it's not the same thing. Living in the moment and living in the emotion at the time, they aren't the same thing, right? So they can cause a lot of destruction, they can cause a lot of havoc. Now listen, don't get it twisted. The powers that be do fall into this category, right? The so-called powers that be fall into this category of people who don't live in the moment, but they live in their emotions at that time, right? Now, and it's so funny now that I think about it, people always like to think that, because they're dealing with childhood trauma, that it makes their experience different, or it makes their experience stand out, or it makes their experience, just unique. I don't know, but it's funny because that's bullshit, because that's everyone's problem. I don't give a fuck if we talking about a bank robber. I don't care if we talking about a prostitute. I don't care if we talking about a preacher. I don't care if we talking about a school teacher. I don't care if we talking about a 3-year-old on a bike. All right, all of our everything comes from our childhood. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we be like, oh, well, people who do bad to other people, they're just bad people. And that's just not true. It's not true. That quote-unquote bad person probably just had a fucked up childhood. Probably had a fucked up mother, or a fucked up father, or a fucked up something, right? And due to that, led them to make bad choices. I mean, I don't really know what determines the level of strength in people's spirits. I really, really don't. But I know that I really don't. Only because, some people can go through really, really hard things, and overcome. And some people, like white people, can just build up hate and envy, So it's really, really hard to determine. Now, anyway, let's get back to these constants. Now, the constants during this time over here in the spirit of spiritual warfare, these constants are probably untouchable people right now. I'm just speaking on what I think is happening. I don't know for sure. I don't know any personally. It's like on a first name basis. I'm just telling you, I think that the constants right now, the intuitive people, they're here. They are among us. You understand? And they are here to establish order, right? And you might be one of those constant people, because I do think those people right now are experiencing great turmoil, or at least coming out of great turmoil, trying their best to heal and feel better during this time of great turmoil and great pain, right? So a lot of people are in lots of pain right now. Not everyone, but lots of people. So, how do those people, right? Because maybe you're one of those people, I don't know, but how do those people Because these are the people that we really worry about here at the Weirdose Podcast. As you know, we care about the light bearers. We care about the star seeds. We care about God's children. We care about those people because they're all in the same group, right? So, what do they do right now when they're the heartbeat and they're the intuitive heartbeat here to maintain order? Because order has to be maintained, because without it, the darkness and the pain people and the hurt people and the, they will destroy this planet, right? And that's because a lot of the motivation behind the things that they do is hurt, is pain, is envy, is jealousy, is manipulation. It's just deep rooted in sadness, right? And it is not logical. It doesn't make sense. It's usually all based on things that have happened in the past that may or may not even be happening in the present, right? They will be able to destroy this planet. But the reason why they're not is because, order is, come on, this ain't theirs to destroy, right? Period. Point blank, period. But anyway, it's amazing how we can have that kind of mindset when it comes to our personal belongings, like our phone and shit like that. But we think that, and we understand that we was made in the image, but we think that with the image that we was made from don't share some of the same principles and ideas. It's amazing. But anyway, now, and the reason why the people who are, the intuitive heartbeats, like, they don't really have to, I honestly believe they don't have to try this that hard. I honestly believe you don't have to try that hard, mainly because, when you're healed, right, and you're on a different plane, you're on a different frequency, you're on a different vibration, right, and you're not so much dwelling in the three-dimensional tangible world where, as far as like pain and hurt and envy, because all of these things are based in the tangible reality. You're more so on a spiritual plane. You're more so on a higher self vibe type shit, right? So that means, hate and envy and jealousy and all those things, they don't live there. They don't thrive there. They can't survive there. Therefore, they aren't there. You know what I'm saying? And because they aren't there, you know what I'm saying? When it does come around you, as long as you don't meet them where they are, as long as you stay on your vibe, it will not be able to survive around you. It'll have to get away from you. It'll have to move. And I'm sure that the Most High Creator has people, ideas, principles in place to make sure that we have balance maintained while the world and its people are definitely going through chaos during this spiritual war. Focus is one of the things that I'm sure we all need if we're trying to be on the right side of this fence and not on the wrong side, right? Now, I want to share a little bit about that. Being able to be focused is going to be very, very important, because you're going to have attacks and things coming at you left, right, up, down, and all the time, right? Now, if you're able to stay focused, right, and use your lens, you're going to be all right. The idea for a camera came from the actual human eye, right? Now, the camera makes it clear as far as what areas are not going to be captured. The camera makes it clear about what areas are not going to be in the picture. So you have to take on what that entails, what that looks like. You got to use your eyes. You got to use your mind, your vision to be able to focus, zoom in and zoom out. There are certain things that you can't really allow within your line of understanding. You have to be able to diffuse and use your logic. You have to be able to believe in the protection that you know is around you and the protection that does exist. Peace, y'all. About to roll up.